Oh, hello there. Excuse me. Just looking at our Lord and Savior. My name's Walker Stipe. How's it going? Starting with a bit of comedy. I hope that's comedic. Today we're talking about some really good news. There's good news. It's nice when there's good news. There's not always good news. Generally, capable agents emerging from open-ended play. That's the title of the paper, blog post, whatever, from our good friends over at Google DeepMind. Yes, Google DeepMind, or Google, a little sketchy in our new world order of whatever the fuck is going on. Conspiracy, whatever it is. There's some funky things going on. But DeepMind, people like David Silver, Oriel Vinyals, the guy whose name I can never say correctly, but he looks like the guy from Cypher from the Matrix. Put his name in the description. Really, really good researcher. Doesn't matter. A lot of those guys amazing. I love them. And gals, obviously. Published this paper. Preprint. It's not actually published. Who cares? Why are we talking about it? Why am I so excited about it? Why am I in a good mood about it? Because it is addressing a philosophical proposition that I came up with because I do that kind of thing, because I'm whatever the hell I am. Let's just start there. Let's start there. So, surreal adversarial learning. If you have not encountered my ramblings on this, I've made a bunch of stuff on that. Essentially, we need to redefine the self as an adversarial thing, a thing that both wants to succeed and sort of destroy itself. If for no other reason, then it's a really good way to go about living in literally any environment. To that end, see, I had this built up the way this. Let me see if I can find. I don't want to do any editing. Will you be patient? Will you be patient? For me. There we go. There we are. Yeah, there we go. Okay. One moment. Wait. I suck on hot dogs. And that's fine. Hot dogs are nice. Ta-da! We've done it. We've done it. So, this is the Necronomicon, the Bible, whatever you want to call it. The sacred text of reinforcement learning, Sutton and Bartow. It's basically the Necronomicon Bible. It's got a lot of... It's really good. Really good. The agent-environment interface. You, listener, you, dear listener, are an agent. You exist, you make decisions, you live in the world, the environment that you exist in. There's a philosophical thing, which I can never remember the name of. Maybe I'll put it in the description, but I probably won't remember because I can never remember it. Where the idea is that, like, you are the only person that exists, and everyone else is a figment of your imagination. Or there's just, like, straight up being a sociopath where you recognize other people exist, you just don't give a shit. Now, in the context of AI, it is the case that you don't have to care. That you can successfully, like, live successfully in, complexity discussions we'll ignore for now, but you are able to just care about yourself, basically, and consider other people, agents, dogs, cats, whatever, as part of the environment, as non-animate, if you will. That's pretty wild. But the key thing we're mentioning here is more in the realm of Nietzsche. Good friend Nietzsche, whatever. Spicy character, not claiming he's perfect, but he said some very compelling things. So, there's a lot of technical things here. The main gist is this. It's this thing right here, which you can see. Good. That there's an agent, you, or some other, whatever, and there's an environment. There's an interaction there. Now, the surreal adversarial learning thing is explicitly trying to redefine the agent as two things. It's not just the agent, but also sort of the anti-agent. And that complexity can bloom, but at the simplest context, self-play, self-adversarial learning, self-supervised learning, these are all sort of in that context. It's very important, whatever. The environment. We need to talk about the environment. It's very important, because what are we trying to do? Yes, we want to exist as an implicit raison d'etre, there it is, of existence, to exist, and then from that, literally whatever the fuck else. But if you're dead, it's a little hard to worship God, save the proles, make the money, whatever. Make up whatever you'd like. But all of that is in a context. What do we mean by context? We mean environment, yes? So, typically in the game playing, it's so funny. He was president. Not over it. And now he's the good guy. There is nothing funnier. There really isn't. Typically in the AI context, the environment is a little game, whether that be StarCraft, good choice, Dota 2, great choice, Magic the Gathering, chess, Go, or the real world, or like a subset of the real world. It could be a factory, it could be a self-driving car, robot of some sort. And obviously there's, Google, Facebook, recommender, algorithms, image, whatever, recognition things. And that's sort of your environment. But the real environment is our flat planet Earth, or whatever shape it may be. It's a jest. But we do live in a world that we want to live in, right? The purpose of this show is stated how life goes on, right? Because currently we're not looking so hot on that trajectory. We're going extinct. That is still true with everything else we've learned, which I just want to rant about so much, but I'm interviewing for some jobs recently, so I don't want to put them up because they're a little spicy, but pretty friendly, non-sociopathic for once. So, the environment is, in a panpsychist, feel free to go down that rabbit hole, for the purpose of computation, not whatever the fuck. The idea that there are environments, that they are complicated, that they can, be in their hierarchical, they can exist inside of others, right? The chessboard you're playing chess on exists inside of the environment, or on a table, which is part of a real, a broader spectrum. Humanity lives on planet Earth, which is in the solar system, which is in the galaxy, which is in a multiverse, this sort of thing. So, now, enter into the conversation, Friedrich Nietzsche. The death of God, and not as a stated fact, but sort of something that we do every day. This gets very testy, I understand. When I think of God, I think more in the Hegelian, Einsteinian sense of power, of an agent, right? Not necessarily of any particular religion, but it's very complicated, and it's not, I would claim that we don't know God, but the idea of a not necessarily all-powerful, but more powerful, right? Sort of like, let's say you beat somebody in the game of chess or whatever, and it's like, I am kind of your god. I rule your existence in this very small context. So something that is dynamic, an agent that is dynamic, but is by nature of being your god, a god over you, is more powerful, has more control, and maybe has some environmental level dynamism, what have you. So, it is likely that there is going to be a heat death of the universe, for instance, in which our environment will run out, basically, and there is nothing inside of this environment, in this context, that can be done about it. No, we don't like that. That's no good. So, if there aren't parallel universes, we should make them. Yes? If there aren't solutions, we should break the rules. Again, rules don't exist. Everything is statistics, unreal numbers, Socrates, this type of thing. So, basically, the death of God in this context is referring to the environment as a sort of proxy, a fuzzy logic type of understanding of there could be a God. Not an explicit particular one, just the idea of a powerful entity or environment. It doesn't have to be actually animate or human-like in any sense. But that this is the environment is a problem that needs addressing. Yes? Yes. Okay. So that's the kind of philosophical sort of thing, is that the environment is something that needs to be addressed. It needs to be changed. Needs to be made friends with, right? We're not anti-deist necessarily, but we are anti-slavery, anti that. So if we can do deities without slavery, that sounds great. If not, we're gonna have some problems. I don't know what that accent is. So that's the philosophical Nietzsche harebrained. I'm a kind of, I don't know, a scary person, but I have thoughts. Who knows where they will lead? There's also the more traditional data augmentation, self-supervised learning type of thing, which is massive and really where a lot of the math more explicitly lies, and probably more what this paper's actually about, at least what the people, delightful people over at DeepMind, which, let's pull their names up. That's always good to do. What they're working on, because this is, I know I'm going to butcher his name, but the NG, and Andrew NG, Andrew? Does that sound wrong? No, that's right. Yeah, this legend, has explicitly talked a lot about it's less on the model and the algorithm and compute and all of that other shit, and it's way more on, is your data clean? Does your data contain bias? We'll fix the bias in the data, and then your model won't ever learn it. And there's lots of discussion on, well, there's not a lot of discussion, I think there should be, on you can solve all of this with just a theory of mind. Not perfectly, but the ability to sort of have a model of the world where basically it's unsupervised, self-supervised learning, where you're sort of choosing what reality to exist in. Because reality is a difficult thing. I'm not saying that all psychoses are correct, but I am saying that many are useful. Yes. All right. So, who knows how many minutes we are in? And now we're getting to the paper. I think that's all we need to say. Open-ended learning. Adam Stuck. Okay, we're not going to read these names. I will butcher them. Wojak. This is the guy I was thinking of earlier. He's got the fucking coolest. I think he looks so fucking cool. I think this guy looks so cool. Like, look at him. Look at him. Come on. My face is in the way. Like, my internet's shit right now. Like, come on. Look at him. He's also, like, seems to be, like, the kindest fucking person. Okay, these are just his papers. Super badass guy. Super badass guy. Good on you. Okay, the paper. What's the gist? In case you've gotten this far, I'll put, I don't know what I'll put in. Who knows? Essentially, it works, right? This is an idea that people have had for a long time, but testing this, even modestly rigorously, is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. But guess what? It's so much work, which is why it takes a place like DeepMind, who eats millions and millions, hundreds of millions, $460 million a year without any real product. I'm going to say some political comments there, but I shall abstain for now. But this is the type of project that takes a big team of experts working together for a long time, because we do not want to go through the paper. It's 54 pages long. It's 54 pages long. If that doesn't also further expound my point of this takes a big team with lots of funding. Not that, well, it helps. It certainly helps. And the amount of expertise, which is what I'm trying to show, just at the part we're not going to talk about, which is the actual factual architecture of the agent, is hyper complex. I mean, it's just got a lot of components, and it is right fucking here. I thought it was much closer. I apologize. What? I could have sworn. There it is. There's a lot of stuff. Also, Goat Unit, very, very cheeky. Greatest of all time. These people are gamers. They're gamers. But, like, this isn't just, This is similar to Agent 57, Mu Zero type of work, which are actually both from DeepMind as well, where there's really a lot of years of research, and we got an LSTM, we got attention heads, we got GOAT, which I looked into and I've already forgotten what it is, but there's just years and years of research, all coming together, all of it being used at the same time, and then there was a step of progress being able to be made in doing a complex thing. So, what'd they do? This is long. Basically, they talk about StarCraft Dota. It's very important. Essentially, what they did is they had a bunch of environments, a bunch of little mini games in the Mario Party. Yeah, love those games. Pull it up, Walker. So basically, they made Mario Party. It's basically what they did for robots, which is pretty. I'd live in a world where we're making Mario Party for robots. That sounds like a nice world. Fuck yeah. Let's get Mario Party 1. A little childhood in there. What? No. Come on. No, not shopping. N64. Look at it. Good graphics don't matter. Fight me. Bowser time, baby. They made Mario Party for robots. Basically, there's a bunch of little mini games where you can learn to solve little tasks, multitask learning, multimodal learning, this sort of thing. And the question is, if you learn a bunch of little tasks, do you become better generally at doing tasks, at doing shit, at being an agent, personhood of some sort? The answer is yes. I'll show the visualization they have of the graph of that right here. It's not my favorite graph, but the main gist is that it does go up and that it does, forget the exact number, it's somewhere deep in here, but that, I think it's in the conclusion. Clear signs, yes, right here. For instance, we show in the technical paper, this long thing, which I will link, that with just 30 minutes of focused training, which it's always like 30 minutes of real-time training or 30 minutes of compute time. There's a very different. I'm going to assume they mean real-time because otherwise this would be a pretty useless thing to mention. Just 30 minutes of focused training on a newly presented complex task, a little mini game. The agents can quickly adapt, whereas agents trained with reinforcement learning from scratch cannot learn these tasks at all. So, Demis Hassabis, sorry, I will never say your name correctly, and that's my bad, but has stated, and just is generally true, but I'll reference him because he is the CEO of DeepMind, I believe, but was one of the founding mentors at the minimum. Transfer learning, the ability to learn one thing and apply it somewhere else. To be able to do that is certainly one of the holy grails, massive step forwards, massive steps, what doesn't matter, for AI. And this sentence here is that, and that's amazing. But almost, I don't know about equally importantly, also very importantly, we're not trying to compare these metrics, also massively importantly to me, is that the environment is now something that is viewed as dynamic, and that the agent itself is choosing what's the next environment I should tackle to improve myself. That's very exciting. That's very philosophically founded to me. Yeah, okay. Do we want to go through the paper? We'll go through a little bit of it, but this is not clearly this is much more of me just talking about philosophy and shit and how it's important. Probably scaring some people away. A universe of training tasks. This is basically the Mario Party. They try to have a good distribution of, meaningfully varied games. 1,000 different versions of tic-tac-toe are not as useful as say the Olympic Games, but those, I don't know, that's a... I'd say these are more interesting than the Olympic Games, which is, again, not a high bar. So one of them is like, capture the cube, match a sphere and a cube. And there's also a like text, like a lot of the goals and whatever are conveyed to the robot, the agent, in the form of text. So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool how like seamlessly we're able to move between those modes of communication pretty seamlessly nowadays. It's pretty sweet. So the idea is that there is a galaxy of games, a topology of games. You know, if you imagined all the different Mario Party games, this is similar to that, but instead of Mario Party, they're little whatever games, and they're sort of in a high dimensionality reduced kind of way, can be thought of as like a universe, a distribution of different games. I hope that's clear. They use this fun little grid world, training methods, deep reinforcement learning. Population-based training is a big part of this. Big part of this is real adversarial learning, kind of as I would claim a framework for that, where the population is you, or versions of you, what have you. You could also define them as other agents, and that's fine. It definitely depends on how you set all that up. Regardless, population-based training, fucking awesome. All about it. All about it. Yes. Super sick, super tight. Alpha Star League. Trying to remember if DeepMind, or the Dota AI 5 worked that way. I don't think it did. But Alpha Star League was like, whoa, this is going to be really great. And the fact that this is still working and, you know, showing promise is massive. What is this? Yeah, basically this is like very simple kind of evolution definition. You know, the weak don't do so hot, the strong survive. Yes, it's very dark. Yes, it's the world we live in. Let's solve that problem. That's a problem to be solved. Just because it exists. Is ought? Nah, fuck that. Alright. Everyone's trying to get better. You do that. Fitness functions, measuring progress. Just that, you know, because you have a bunch of different mini games, you do have to do some normalizing and some standardizing and making sure that your metrics mean anything. They did that. It's not that complicated, but it's also a bit boring. Yeah, and it worked, and it gets complicated if you want to dive into it, which I probably will more later, but honestly I need to focus on trying to publish things and preparing for a very good job interview that I have tomorrow. So, yes, I don't know if I have anything else I want to say on this at the moment. It's probably good. You're probably glad of this. Many examples. It's kind of similar to OpenAI's DALL-E clip, where there's a lot of like fun visualization sort of stuff you can really dive into. Not quite as interactive, but like this is a fun one. And there's some videos which I don't know where they are. Where were the videos? But you could see the agent like flipping blocks around to try and make a ramp. And it does. It like makes a little ramp and climbs up and gets this little pyramid. So very cool, very exciting. And this is the world we live in. This is actually how power works in the world. I wish this were a joke. Not to get like hyper conspiratorial and like, oh, everything's lizard people. But capitalism breeds a certain type of structure, right? Emergent from a capitalist environment, certain things are likely to occur. AI is the biggest fish, or will become the biggest fish, where we don't have to give a fuck about these kind of people anymore. I think that sounds nice, right? Because, yes, the environment, addressing the environment as a problem and a component of the solution of life is great for our religious, philosophical questions of who is God, how do we become friends and make sure he doesn't enslave us. But it's also really good for recognizing that the world we currently live in is quite literally ruled, as in the president, good friends of Bill Gates and other sort of healthcare fuckery. It's nice to be able to address that at a level that could matter. Yeah, feel free to disagree. Feel free to share your thoughts. We are thinking here, or at least attempting to. So, let's help each other out. And yeah, I will continue on with the surreal GAN stuff, which is kind of related to this. It's going fine. I'm still shit at code. But stop gradients are very useful. Very useful for that type of thing. So, I have been Walker Stipe. This is awesome research. There's a lot of awesome research. We should talk about DeepMind and protein folding. I don't know what my opinion is. Not that it's all about having an opinion, luckily. But I don't know what to say, other than, like, very glad of it, but also very concerned for people like this in the world. Not, I think that's Melania. I don't know. You know, they put the stuff open source. But they're already owned by Google, Eric Schmidt, Will Hurd at OpenAI. I don't know. Who cares? Let's make AI. Let's make it badass. And, let's be friends. Yeah? Okay.